Hi, I'm Jeff Patterson with Home Repair Tutor, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a rustic picture frame. It's super simple, easy to make, and will look totally cool in your living room, dining room, or family room. So let's get to it. I know you can do this, and you can probably make it better than I can. Alright, let's get to it. You're going to start out with a 1x8 by 24 inch piece of wood. Now I went and bought this. It's an oak piece of wood. I'm going to sand it down using a random orbital sander. I started out with 120 grit, sanded down all the surfaces including the edges using the 120. Then what you're going to do is switch to 220. Now I love the random orbital sander because you can just peel off the disc and put on the new one, and the 220 gets it nice and smooth. What you're going to do is you're going to get yourself some of these mason jars. Again, I just bought these, but you're going to get these mason jars and you're going to spray the lids using some Rust-Oleum. Now I used oil rubbed bronze, and you can spray it on any surface essentially, and you're going to let that dry. So you're going to let the lids dry. I got these jars from our local craft store for $1.99, but I bet you could even get them for free or cheap at a garage sale. Pretty sweet. Whew, what a difference one day can make. Today is sunny, and after a short break and going to see the Hunger Games, I'm back at work. Oh, and by the way, the third Hunger Games, I'm not sure about it. Let me know what you think. What I'd like to do is position the picture that I'm going to be using onto the wood, and also the jar, the glass jar, just to get a good idea of how it's going to look. Now I'm using a 4x6 inch picture. I centered it and drew marks on there using my combination square, so that those pictures are all centered. Then I drew little pencil marks in the corners of those boxes and drilled through those using my drill. So now you've got 4 holes per picture on the piece of wood, and you can use a jigsaw to cut out those squares like I did here. Now you'll have to go over the squares again using a random orbital sander. No problem though. Again, you can start out with 120, and if you need to, you can use a piece of sanding paper in the holes, or you can use a multi-tool like I'm using here. Either will work really well. Then wipe it down with a rag, wipe off all the dust, and use a tack cloth to get the remaining small particles of wood off the top of the wood. And you're going to use a pre-stain. This is a wood conditioner by Minwax, and this prepares the wood and prevents it from having a blotchy finish when you use the stain that you choose. So the only thing is, you want to make sure that this is completely dry before you stain. Allow the conditioner to set in for about 5 to 15 minutes. Come back, wipe off the excess, let it dry, and then you can apply your stain. I gotta say, I was always a little bit leery about the conditioner and whether or not it made a difference, but it definitely does. Think about it this way. When you shampoo your hair, if you put conditioner in it, it always looks a lot better, right? And I've got frizzy hair, so sometimes conditioner comes in handy. If you're going to be using the wood conditioner, you cannot use a water-based stain. So that's why I'm using Poly Shades by Minwax. Now, I like Poly Shades because it comes not only with polyurethane in it, but also the stain. Sorry, this is a little bit messy. It's from a prior project. But I love keeping these around the garage because you never know when you're going to be using it again. Stir up the Poly Shades really well using a paint stirrer and wipe it onto the wood frame using a rag. You can also use a brush applicator to do this, but I wanted a really rustic look, so that's why I used the rag. Once that dries, you use steel wool, quadruple 0, and rub that steel wool all over the wood piece, and then use a tack cloth again to take off any of the dust. Now I experimented here with a foam applicator just to see what the stain would look like for the second coat. Alright, so now it's time to put the mason jar together. I don't know about you, but when I see mason jar, I see moonshine. For some reason I connect the two. I don't know why. You're going to put the mason jar back together, put the lid back on it, and I'm going to show you why in a second here. That lid, you're going to have to pre-drill it. You're going to have to drill 2 holes into it, because you're going to have to take some hobby chain. You just get this at the local hardware store. You're going to take that hobby chain and you're going to put it in those 2 holes. And then what you'll do is you'll take that lid and you'll screw it back onto the mason jar like I'm doing here. And the hobby chain is going to allow the mason jar to hang from your rustic picture frame. So it's really simple to do. It's really, really simple. But take the jar with the painted lid, put 2 marks on it using a marker, and then drill out those 2 marks using a drill and a drill bit made for metal. You're going to take your hobby chain, I think this is maybe about 6 or 7 inches long, and you're going to put that back onto the lid, put some sand into the jar, plop a candle down into it, and then take your pictures and you're just going to tape them to the back of the picture frame. It's really that simple. You just take your 2 pictures, you tape it to the back of the picture frame. Drill a hook into the center about 1 inch or 2 below the second picture frame and hang your jar from that hook. And this is kind of what it looks like. It's pretty sweet. It's simple, and I know that you can do this. You could probably make it better than me. Well, there you go. That's how you make a rustic picture frame. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, if you thought it was cool and that you're going to make this yourself, go ahead and click the like button or the thumbs up button. That way somebody else can see it. And remember, if you haven't already done so, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel because a new DIY video comes out every single week, and they're meant for you because we all have, I guess, issues or problems with our homes, and that's why I make these videos every single Friday. So I hope that you like the new ones that come out, and I hope that you like this one too. I really enjoy this stuff, and I love talking to my fans over on YouTube and over on my website, Home Repair Tutor. All right, take care. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.